All right, part 2 of biomolecules. We just have to talk about 2 more, so this won't take long. So, proteins. Oh, look at all those proteins. So, again, proteins, you're thinking, all of these molecules is probably the types of food you eat, except for the DNA, you don't really eat that. So, proteins are multi-purpose molecules. These things do everything. So, here's some examples of the many things that they do. Or they are. So proteins are muscles in our body. There also are skin, hair, fingernails, and claws. I know we don't have claws, but lots of animals do. And this is because the collagen and the keratin that makes it up, like collagen is in your skin, so it keeps it firm. And keratin is the protein. Those are the names of the proteins. There's also pepsin. That's the digestive enzyme that is found in your stomach. Insulin is also a protein, and you can see that these look totally different from the lipid and the carbohydrate that we just saw. These look like little blobs. Insulin's a hormone that's in your body, and it helps control sugar levels and keep them in check. Okay, and then, like I said, lots and lots of functions that proteins do. So there's hormones, and if you remember, other hormones are also lipids, so that's confusing, right? Lots of hormones, they're either proteins or lipids. Movement, you need to move. The immune system, there's a lot of antibodies in your body, and they help protect you against germs. And then enzymes. Enzymes we're going to talk about like all next week, but they are what make reactions in your body happen. So enzymes are just a type of protein. Oh, I just saw the kangaroos running. Oh, the cheetah is too, the leopard. Okay. Anyways, the building block of protein. The monomer of protein is called an amino acid, and this is an amino acid down here. You'll notice this one has a nitrogen in it. The previous two we looked at only were made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So this is a way that you can recognize that you're looking at a protein, is that it has a nitrogen atom in it. So again, put a bunch of monomers together, you get a polymer. Put a bunch of amino acids together, you get a protein. There are 20 different amino acids that you can use to make a protein. So, and they each have this different variable group, and that's what identifies each different amino acid. So you can imagine if you think of these amino acids as letters in the alphabet, you can make a bunch of different combinations of these proteins. Okay, here's what it would look like if you put all of the amino acids together to make a chain. And basically what happens, because some of the amino acids are considered hydrophobic, meaning they don't like water, and some are hydrophilic, these proteins end up folding in on themselves with these hydrophobic amino acids wanting to get away from the water. So in this example, the red ones are hydrophobic. So the protein will fold in on itself and arrange it in a way that the amino acids that don't like the water are on the inside. As you can imagine, if these red ones were in different combinations, it's going to produce a different shape of protein. Here's an example of the hydrophilic ones. These are the water-loving amino acids. They want to be in the water, so the protein is going to fold to where the hydrophilic ones are on the outside and the hydrophobic are on the inside. So, as I said, these proteins can fold and twist themselves into very many different shapes, and it's the shape that tells the protein, different shapes are going to mean a different job for that protein. Here's an example of collagen. It has to do with keeping your skin firm and elastic, so it's long and kind of elastic looking. We're going to talk about enzymes later, so I won't mention pepsin. And hemoglobin is in your blood. It looks totally different because it has a completely different function. So it's the shape that matters. Depending on their shape, it will do its different job. And then if a protein happens to denature or unfold, then it won't be able to do its job. And things that can make proteins denature are temperature, meaning like it's too high of a temperature, it'll just kind of cook the protein and it'll fall apart. Or a really high pH or a really low pH, so something really basic or something really acidic. It can affect this folded protein. It's supposed to be folded. It looks like this when it becomes denatured, so it unfolds, and then it's not its correct shape and it can't do its job. Nucleic acids, the last group of biomolecules. It is not a food. It is an information molecule. We don't eat DNA. Well, I guess we do, but anyways. DNA, this is what it looks like. It stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. There's also another type of genetic information we will talk about later in the year. It's called RNA, and it's just ribonucleic acid on its own. And it looks like this. So instead of the double strands like DNA has, it's just a single strand. And its function is genetic material. It stores everything. It's a code. It stores everything that makes us up. It's our blueprint. If we didn't have DNA, we wouldn't be able to make those proteins. DNA is the code for building those proteins that we need to do these jobs that make us live. And then you can also transfer that information. The DNA that you have in your body it'll be passed on one day if you ever have children. I don't know. Parents pass on their DNA to their kids, and then you can make more DNA for the future. Okay. DNA makes proteins. There's the penguin again. Perfect. This is what makes up a nucleic acid. The monomer of a nucleic acid is called a nucleotide. And the nucleotide itself, well, you put them all together. Nucleotide itself is made up of these three subunits. So a nucleotide is made up of a phosphate group, a sugar, and a nitrogen base. These nitrogen bases, those are the A's, the T's, the C's, the G's. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we're going to talk more about DNA later in the year, but just know that this is a nucleotide, and you put a chain of these together and you get a nucleic acid. This is how you build DNA. So here's what it looks like, adding nucleotide by nucleotide. Does it start to look like the familiar, that would be one side of the DNA molecule, or a single RNA strand. And there's super strong bonds held between sugar and phosphate group, probably covalent bonds. We're going to skip this. There we go. There's RNA. RNA is still made up of nucleotides. It's still made up of phosphates and sugars and nitrogen bases. It's just made up of different types, which is what makes it DNA and RNA different. All right. And then basically you have your two double strands. They twist together, make a double helix. But we are going to talk about that more later. I'm going to skip over all of this, and I believe this is it. So with that, have an awesome day, and I'll see you in class.